What is good, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Chad bringing y'all another video, and as you can tell by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about a leaked draft opinion by the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade. Now, Roe v. Wade, is over the topic of abortion, so you know how that sort of conversation goes. But what I have here is an NPR article about it, and then I'm just going to give you guys my personal opinion, all right? So Washington, a draft opinion circulated among Supreme Court justices suggested earlier this year, a majority of them had thrown support behind overturning the 1973 case Roe v. Wade that legalized abortion nationwide. It is unclear if the draft represents the court's final word on the matter. The Associated Press could not immediately confirm the authenticity of the draft. Politico posted, which if verified marks a shocking revelation of the higher court's secretive deliberation process, particularly before a case is formally decided. The news outlet published what was labeled as the first draft of the opinion of the court in the case challenging Mississippi's ban on abortion after 15 weeks, a case known as Dobbs v. Jackson's Women's Health Organization. The Supreme Court has yet to issue a ruling in the case, and opinions and even justices' votes have been known to change during the drafting process. The court is expected to rule on the case before its term is up late June or early July. The draft is signed by Justice Samuel Alito, a member of the court's 6-3 conservative majority who was appointed by former President George W. Bush. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start, the draft opinion states. We hold that Roe and Casey must be overruled. It adds, referencing the 1992 case Planned Parenthood versus Casey, that affirmed Roe's finding of a constitutional right to abortion services, but allowed states to place some constraints on the practice. It is time to heed the Constitution and return the issue of abortion to the people's elected representatives. The draft opinion in effect states there is no constitutional right to abortion services and would allow individual states to more heavily regulate or outright ban the procedure. Politico said only that it received a copy of the draft opinion from a person familiar with the court's proceedings in the Mississippi case, along with other details supporting the authenticity of the document. Now, off rip, I don't want to go too far into, abortion and what everybody's saying. For me personally, I believe in God, Jesus, everything. I think that every life is sacred. I think there are plenty of options before abortion. So before we even get to killing innocent life that can't speak up for themselves, we can find some other type of measure, okay? Whether that's adoption, orphanage, I don't know. But I don't think killing the baby is the right call, in my personal opinion. But basically what this doing with Roe v. Wade being overturned does, I already see that there's a lot of outrage from liberals and Democrats about Roe v. Wade, and they're acting like they banned abortions everywhere. Abortions are banned. That's not true. What this is basically going to do is it's going to take abortions being considered your constitutional right from the federal government and passing it down to the states. So if you live in Texas and they say it's banned, then it's banned in Texas. But let's say you go over to a Democrat state, I don't know, Chicago, and they say it's allowed, it's allowed. So this basically takes the, rights for abortion that the feds control. I think, honestly, this, even though it's very controversial, is one of the better moves because it delineates the, trust or the rights down to the states to implement what they think. So basically, it's going to end up as in, I said basically too many times, but it's going to end up as in, if you're pro-life, live in a red state. If you're pro-choice, live in a blue state. And that's honestly what it'll be. Some states may allow it up to a certain amount of time. Some states may not, but it's going to be out of the federal government's hands. Now, this is just a draft. So this isn't the official document, but just looking at this, what I'm already getting is this is more than likely going to happen. As you know, I think Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett, Clarence Thomas, Alito, and there's one other who I think voted on this in the draft. So what this is basically showing me is, and this also was a leaked document. Now, whoever leaked this document, it either could be the Supreme Court who leaked the document, some liberal or Democrat, clerk or so that leaked the document. You know, if it was, let's see, someone on the court who leaked the document, they could basically be someone we know people are going to be outraged. We're going to leak the document ahead of time. So that way, by the time this is finalized, you know, people won't be so mad. If it's a liberal or Democrat that released it, it's, you see what these conservatives are doing, or these Republicans, or these pro-lifers are trying to do. You know, we want people to be so upset that maybe the Supreme Court will change their ruling. Now, another perspective is, because these documents have come out, right, this is either one, going to solidify that this is what they're going to say, and people getting outraged about it is just going to make their stance more concrete and they're going to stand on it, or this is what they're saying, people are outraged, we're going to change our minds when the official vote happens. But at that point, people aren't going to really believe in the Supreme Court, because they're going to say they bowed the knee to the woke mob. Now, you know, people can feel however they want to feel about abortion. Like I said, I'm pro-life, not pro-choice, just because, like, you know, the Lord says in the Bible that he knew us in the womb. He knows all the hairs on our head. He knew us before he formed us. So that's the only reason that I'm pro-life. Plus, I enjoy life. Like, I'm happy my mom and dad had me. I wouldn't be here otherwise, you know, if they aborted me. But I just think that it is, you know, kind of good that this has been non-federal issue, but is now a state's issue if this does go through. Like I said, this is just a draft. But I also think that this is going to lead to more of like a civil war in the culture war, where people are going to be saying like pro-lifers or Republicans and conservatives are evil for trying to preserve life that can't speak for itself, versus Democrats and liberals and stuff, you know, are the morally just and, you know, superior people because they care about what other people want. And in my eyes, you know, sometimes in life, the unpopular opinion is really the truth and the right opinion, versus the popular opinion is usually like really bogged down nonsense. But I think this is also going to cause, like I said, more of a civil war between left and right. They're just going to go further and further away. Red states compared to blue states are going to be such a different culture. Like, I guarantee if you live in Chicago or New York and you move to Texas, your life will be so much better in Texas than Chicago or New York, just based off the laws, just based off the governors, just based off how things are operated and ran. It's more of a free thinking society. You do what you feel is best. We're going to give you as a state these rights. Either we allow or don't allow this or that and this and that, and you choose if you want to do that. Simple. Like Texas came out with if you want to wear a mask, then you can wear a mask. New York has, you must wear a mask wherever you go. And the thing about it is, and in just my personal opinion, it seems like majority red states are more for the freedom of individuals to think for themselves, versus blue states are more so like, you're going to think the way we want you to think. We're going to have a hive mind. Like, it's almost gotten to the point where red states are kind of like individualistic, like how people think, they think on the individual level. And blue states are more so like, we think as a collective, we think as a hive mind. And I'm an individual. I prefer to think on my own. But before I even get all into all that, I just thought this was really interesting that, you know, the Supreme Court has a draft that says they will overturn Roe v. Wade. I heard through like some prophets or so that Roe v. Wade was getting ready to be overturned anyway, maybe like last year or actually 2 years ago, back in 2020. The viewpoint that I was thinking about is that it's a little weird that this is being leaked. That's never happened before, you know, close to midterm times, because it's like the Democrats and liberals already haven't had things going their way, right? The culture's starting to shift. This comes out, now it's going to be like, oh, this is something we have to be voting for. You know, they're trying to take over, they're trying to do this. So it's like, it's crazy this is coming out near midterms. It was like right coincidentally on time. Same thing for like how Biden's trying to get rid of student loan debt. Like, if he gets rid of student loan debt before midterms and people get swayed by, wow, my student loan debt is gone, it's like, it's not a coincidence he did it before midterms after the Democrats have already been looking terrible. So yeah, looks like this is not going to be a federal government issue, not a constitutional right to abort life. But this is now going to be one that's down there on the state level where the states decide if you have that right or not. So yeah, man, leave your comments below if you guys have any. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. You know where I stand. And as always, it's been your boy Chad, and I'm out. Peace.